Okay. So hi, before we begin reading this part of the class, we will read one by one, just part of this story, and then we're going to discuss what we understand from the reading to practice the language more and more and develop our skills. You can begin reading, Suhaib.
Tamam. That night, the family ate a sad meal as there was not enough food for all of them. Tristan, other children, asked why their brother was still alive.
Okay.
But the father refused to answer, just as he was climbing into bed. He heard a cold voice behind him.
Yes.
Behind him. You are quite an interesting man. Interesting man. Tristan turned around to see a tall, pale figure before him, recede in a black cloak. The figure had no face, and their voice was neither male nor female. In their hand, they held a long
Skydy. Yes, Skydy. Okay.
It was death. Has my time come already? Cried Tristan, trembling.
Okay.
The only thing that has come is your scope. said death. I say that you denied God, and I must say I was impressed. Unlike God, I strike the rich and the poor alike. Let me be the mother of your child, and I will look after him. He will have everything he needs, and I will make him the finest doctor in the land. Tristan gingerly handed his son over, wanting to get death out of his house as soon as possible. Good luck, my boy, he said, kissing the body on his head. Death wrapped their
bony hands
around him and turned around. Their cloak fading into the darkness.
Okay, who's next, guys?
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
من وين هو ببلش؟ من سي.
That night.
You are. Oh, okay. That night, the family ate a sad meal, as there was not enough food for all of them. Tristan's other children asked why their why their brother was still alive, but the father refused to answer. Just as he was climbing into bed, he heard a cold voice behind him. You are quite an interesting man. Tristan turned around to see a tall, pale figure before him, dressed in a black cloak. The figure had no face, and their voice was neither male or female. In their hand, they held a long scythe. It was death. Has my
Okay.
time come already? Cried Tristan, trembling.
Mhm.
The only thing that has come is your rescue, said Death.
Risk
Oh, she
is your risk.
risk, said
Yes.
Death. I saw that you denied God, and I
Okay.
must say I was impressed. Unlike God, I strike the rich and the poor alike. Let me be the mother of your child, and I will look after him. He will have everything he needs, and I will make him the finest doctor in the land. Tristan eagerly handed his son over, wanting to get Death out of his house as soon as possible. Good luck, my boy, he said, kissing the boy on the head. Death rubbed their bony hands around him and turned around, their cloak fading into the darkness.
Okay. Who's next, guys?
أنا
Yes, go ahead. Yes, guys.
ارفع الهاي صهايب. That night, the family ate a sad meal, as there was not enough food for all of them. Tristan other children asked why their brother was still alive, but their father requested to answer. Just as he was climbing into bed, he heard a cold voice behind him. You are quite an interesting man. Tristan turned around to see a tall, pale figure before him, dressing in a black cloak. The figure had no face, and their voice was neither male or female. In their hand, they held a long sky they.
Fine.
It was
Fine.
death. Has my time come already? cried Tristan, trembling. The only thing that has come is your resource. A
Risk.
sad risk, said Death. I saw that you and God, and I must say I was impressed. Unlike God, I struck the rich and the poor alike. Let me be the mother of your child, and I will look after him. He will have everything he needs, and I will make him the prince doctor in the land. Tristan eagerly handed his son over, waiting to get Death out of his house as soon as possible. Good luck, my boy, he said, kissing the baby on his head. Death wrapped their bony hands around him and turned around their cloak fading into the darkness.
Okay, now guys, it's my turn, and I'd like you to focus with me when I read the way I pronounce the word, so you can recognize where you mistook in pronouncing some words, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let me begin. That night, the family ate a sad meal, as there was not enough food for all of them. Tristan's other children asked why their brother was still alive, but the father refused to answer. Just as he was climbing into bed, he heard a cold voice behind him. "You are quite an interesting man." Tristan turned around to see a tall, pale figure before him, dressed in a black cloak. The figure had no face, and their voice was neither male nor female. In their hand, they held a long scythe. It was death. "He has my time come already," cried Tristan, trembling. "The only thing that has come is your risk," said Death. "I saw that you denied God, and I must say I was impressed. Unlike God, I strike the rich and the poor alike. Let me be the mother of your child, and I'll look after him. He'll have everything he needs, and I'll make him the finest doctor in the land." Tristan eagerly handed his son over, wanting to get Death out of his house as soon as possible. "Good luck, my boy," he said, kissing the baby on his head. Death wrapped their bony hands around him and turned around, their clock fading into the darkness. So, guys, now after we read this part of the story, let's discuss what we understand from this part of reading. So, can you tell me what did you understand from what you read?
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah, go.
When the family ate the ate the meal
Okay.
in the night, the children of Tristan said why the brother was still alive, and
Mhm.
the Tristan confused and couldn't answering the question, and he had climbing the stairs and going to bed, and when he in the bed behind his child or his son,
Mhm.
he heard a voice who said, "You are quite an interesting man," and he is afraid and looking around him, and
Mhm.
he saw that man had no face, and his voice that neither male or female,
Okay.
and he has recognized or noticed that the strange man or the stranger is the death angel.
Mhm.
Uh, as after that, death angel said talking with Tristan uh, and tell him that he يعني انه uh, he wants to take the son and making him the finest doctor in the world. And after
Okay.
that, Tristan kissing his son and giving him a hug and يعني عيط عليه وكان له يعني ودعه, and the death angel taking the sun and expired in the darkness.
So you mean the father cried at his son, and farewell also his son, leaving him to death, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Owais, what do you think about this part of the story?
غير متوقعة أو شيء زي هيك بحكيها.
Unexpected.
This part is unexpected part.
Yes.
I didn't think this happened. أحكي عنها، أحكي إيش فهمت؟
Yes. What did you understand?
Really, in the second chapter, I have a mistake. But in the first chapter, I understand will understand. In night, the Tristan family eat a sad meal because the food not enough for all. And the Tristan children asked him why their brother is still at life to now. Tristan unanswered the children questions, and he goes to bed. When he bed, he heard the voice behind him say, "You are quite an interesting man." Tristan turn to see what happened. He see a figure, neither man or woman, wear a dress, black cloth, and have a hill long sky they like نقول fast أو شيء زي هيك.
Yes, you mean scythe.
إيش هي؟
Scythe.
Like a scythe in their hands. مش عارف الجزء الثاني ما فهمتوش صراحة مظبوط.
Okay, this is fine. That is fine. Let's hear to Suhaib. What does he understand from the story? Suhaib?
يلا.
Yes, go ahead.
Tristan other children asked why their brother was still alive, but the father refused to answer. رفض الإجابة يعني أتوقع.
Yes.
Tristan turned around to see a tall, pale figure before him, dressed in a black cloak. The figure had no face. It was death.
Okay.
Sure. تمام. Let me be the mother of your child. Yes.
Okay, this is fine. Let me tell you guys what I understood from this part of reading. If we remember what we took last class, okay, in the last part of this story, we noticed that there is a problem of the father, which is the inability to offer good and enough food for his children after his wife's death. So it's quite clear in this part that there is not enough food at home for feeding all his children. So he resumed his intention of getting rid of his 13th child, okay, the number 13 child, as he tried in the beginning of the story to leave him in the woods, right? But because the shining old man he saw near to the river, he felt afraid and he took his son back to the home. Now we see in this part, he's taking back again his son out of the home, but not to the river, to somewhere else. Also, planning again to get rid of his son, and also the children, the other brothers of the 13th child, also were asking about why their brother is still alive. So they feel like their 13th brother, okay, the number 13 brother, is a competitor for them, okay, on the portion of food they are taking or finding at home presented by their father. So it's quite really very, you know, sadful part of this story we have here by the narrator telling us about this child, that the family wants to get rid of him because the problem of there is no enough or availability of food and other needs for staying alive like his brothers. So that's what I understood from this part, and it seems also that the shining old man that the father saw last time near to the river was not God. We are recognizing here in this part that the shining old man represents kind of a angel, okay, from the heaven, and the angel was talking to the father of the child, offering him to take the child and offering him the best life and upbringing him until he becomes the finest doctor in the land or in the world or in the city he lives in. So that's simply what is this part about. And the last thing, actually, the father kissed his baby because he's leaving him to death, and the death wrapped their bony rounds of the children and their dad, okay, just seeing their brother and the son of this family is going to death. Okay, so as I said, it's really sadful part of the story. We will see in next classes what will happen with this child. Unfortunately, that the family does not want it to stay alive with them. And we will discuss the rest of the story by next class. So let's move, guys, now to a new part of this lecture after we are now done with the reading. You can stop the recording, Suhaib.